Good evening and thanks for joining us. City Councillor Aldo Roberto hopes he's swayed enough of his colleagues to vote in favor of a pet bylaw. A little more than a month ago, the bylaw to limit the number of pets a household can have was shot down in a tight vote, 6-5. That decision is up for ratification tomorrow night, but the resolution has also been tweaked somewhat. In addition to taking a look at limiting the number of cats and dogs per household, Roberto wants a report on improving communication between animal control and the Humane Society. Council will also be asked to sign a new deal with the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation. The latest agreement provides 4% of the proceeds from live table games revenue. That's expected to fetch an additional $84,000 each year. The city's been receiving roughly $2.4 million annually through quarterly payments. Since opening in August 2000, the local charity casino has given $31.6 million back to the city. Well, thousands of people gathered across the province to participate in the annual Terry Fox Run today. Last year, the run raised close to $12 million for cancer research. And as Courtney Rutherford reports, Thunder Bay residents hold a special place in their heart for the man who was filled with so much courage and perseverance.
I was on my way to university and I saw him running up the hill just outside of Nipigon.
Barb Phillips is one of millions of Canadians who remember Terry Fox and his journey. It was 1980 and Terry Fox had been running across Canada on a prosthetic leg to raise funds for cancer research. After running almost a marathon each day for 143 days, Terry was forced to stop when the cancer recurred in his lungs.
We got to go home and try and do some more treatment. But all I can say is if there's any way I can get out there again and finish it, I will.
His marathon of hope stopped here in Thunder Bay, and Fox was never able to finish. His battle had come to an end, but the fight for cancer research did anything but.
This is the 33rd annual Terry Fox Run, and over those 33 years, over $600 million has been raised. That's a lot of money that's gone into cancer research. And in fact, I read in the Globe and Mail yesterday, they profiled a young fellow who had the same cancer that Terry had. Today, if Terry had that cancer, because of the research, he'd be alive and well and wouldn't have lost his leg.
84 cents of every dollar raised goes directly to cancer research. To this date, the Terry Fox Foundation has raised over $600 million for cancer research worldwide. And over 1,100 cancer research projects have been funded by the foundation. There's a reason why it continues to touch just about everyone.
Well, I've lost both parents to cancer. My dad was a cancer survivor and then it got him about 40 years later. So I have an affinity for anything that raises money to help for cancer research.
We're from Lakehead University and we did it last year in Milton, Ontario, near Toronto. We're running for our close neighbor, Jeff Roy, and back in Milton a couple summers ago, he died of cancer.
Each year, just over 500 people come together at Boulevard Lake to participate in the event. Local organizers expect by the end of the day, the Thunder Bay Run will have raised just over $30,000. Courtney Rutherford, TBT News.
Well, Air Cadets gathered at Thunder Bay International's airport's memorial to the Air Service today to remember the Battle of Britain. The battle helped change the face of the Second World War. German soldiers had been performing air raids over London. And during the fight, all British airmen had defended their country in the biggest aerial battle in history. Nearly 1,500 people died, 47 of them Canadian. A memorial is held every September 15th, or the closest Saturday to it, to pay tribute to those who lost their lives.
It's to commemorate all the airmen who gave their lives in the service of defending freedom over Britain during World War II.
Barabash says it's important to remember historically where we've come from, what we've fought for, and what we've been through to enjoy the freedoms we have in the world today. NDP Leader Andrea Horwath was in town as the keynote speaker at the party's Northern Council meeting held at the Airlane Hotel. She called the situation surrounding the Thunder Bay generating station a game of political football. Horwath says it's unfortunate that the ruling Liberals tend to forget promises made after taking reign of power. She calls the generating station's halted conversion to natural gas the perfect example of that. Horwath says it's been clear for some time that the issue is not just access to electricity from time to time, it's reliable access that's ongoing. Horwath added that the North wouldn't be ignored if she was elected premier. She believes this is a missed economic opportunity.
In the interim, to push the Liberals to make the right decision for the Northwest and make sure that we get reliable access to power. Because there's, as I said in my speech, some at least 9 mines that I've been told about that are either being developed or that are being reopened that need to be able to access that power to be able to be in production.
Horvath said that people want access to electricity, and this is what the plan will do. She says she'll continue to push the province to make it happen, calling the lack of commitment to the project shameful. Thunder Bay Police Service has been given the nod by City Council to go ahead and purchase new in-car devices that are designed to improve daily operations. Chief J.P. Levesque says the current system in the cars are out of date and need to be replaced. He says there are serious infrastructure issues with the old cellular technology, and the current computers officers are using on the road are failing. Council approved the sole source purchase of 32 Panasonic laptops at a total cost of $95,000. The sole sourcing was recommended by the police board to maintain the partnership with their current technology provider. However, the decision to sole source had one city councillor questioning the recommendation.
Just wondering, when it comes to purchasing things like this, rather than going to a sole source mode, can you just not go to an open tender and your specifications will read, has to communicate with XYZ or whatever?
To go through a tender process and have other firms come back and say that they can't meet the standards seemed like a lot of work for nothing. We know what we need. As Councillor Benz had mentioned, it speaks to our other equipment and interfaces with our computer equipment, so it seemed like the logical thing to do, and I understand the transparency issue with this.
The new laptops are expected to be installed in police cruisers by the end of the year. Long Lake 58 is looking to get a lot bigger. The First Nation community near Long Lac is in the midst of becoming roughly 7 times its current size. The deal to acquire the property north and south of Highway 11 has been in the works for years, but as Dennis Ward reports, there's been a recent breakthrough.
Long Lake 58 is working on a major expansion. The community is currently 1 square mile in size, surrounded by railroad tracks, the highway, and a swamp. For the past 7 years, the Band Council have been trying to purchase roughly 4,300 acres of land west of the community. It's been a slow grind, but Band manager Henry Wabus says for some reason this past year, the federal government said, let's get the deal done.
The federal government has agreed to purchase the land. Ontario has agreed to sign it over to us. We just got a few details to clean up.
The federal government are providing the $640,000 for the land purchase. More than 400 people make up the community of Long Lake 58, and there hasn't been a new home built here in 5 years. Wabu says another 900 people live off reserve, and many of the older ones want to come back home. A land use study will determine how to best use the land, but they have some ideas.
One of the biggest thing the community is looking for is an own graveyard site anywhere in that area, but we have to designate it. So that's, and the like I said, the residential section, and then probably along the highway it will be all business.
Band Council have called for a joint meeting with Greenstone Council to discuss the project. Wabus believes taxes would be paid to the municipality once the deal is complete. Numerous attempts have been made in the past to have a council-to-council sit-down. Greenstone Mayor Ron Beaulieu feels this is a great opportunity to discuss issues and help each other out.
You know, that this has been talked about for a while, but it's the first time that we will really have the opportunity to look at what they're talking about for their expansion. And this municipality of Greenstone, I mean, we've been working together, living together for the past 40 years in this, 50 years in this area. So more and more today, we look at this as opportunities for Greenstone.
The meeting has been tentatively set for this coming week. Dennis Ward, TBT News.
Well, tenants at a Northside apartment are speaking out after finding their building infested with bed bugs. With word of the problem now out in the public, we headed out for our question of the day to see if you were worried about the bugs invading your home.
It could, I guess, if it starts to get really bad. I'm sure it would probably worry a lot of people.
Maybe I should be taking more precautions, but I'm not currently worried about it, no.
Well, it is a health scare. I know it was quite the issue in other cities and down in the States. As far as people doing a lot of traveling this time of year, sure, it would be an issue.
No, I haven't, but I've been seeing a lot of that on television, and that's a concern for me. In other cities, in other places, I'd hate to see it here.
I'm not too concerned about that. Just if that happens, I guess man up and pay for it, I guess.
Definitely, I think that's terrible. I mean, I don't know if they can get rid of them easily, or if it's something like that has to be like a whole building's got to be like either as demolished or whatever. But that's definitely a concern. It's very gross.